Hello everyone and welcome back. So today we'll be studying about the topic on O'Parent-Haldane theory. So this topic is in continuation with the previous theories which we have been studied about the origin of life. So these are the major 8 steps which is being prevailing in the O'Parent-Haldane theory. So O'Parent and Haldane, this scientists proved or they suggested that life had a abiotic origin, that is the inorganic molecules originated from the abiotic environment or the abiotic origin. Now from the inorganic molecules led to the formation of the organic molecules, and as a result life came on earth. So let us study the steps of the O'Parent and Haldane theory. So first is the origin of earth and primitive atmosphere. So this step is telling that, the first step is telling that how the earth got formed. So we all know that it is the explosion of the supernovas that led to the formation of the earth. And eventually in the primitive environment our earth was like a ball of hot gases and the temperature of the earth was very high. So eventually what happened, the metals got stratified according to the densities which form the core of the earth, with the heavy density metals like copper, iron, and then you form the lithosphere. The earth formed its lithosphere with medium weight denser materials like sodium, potassium, and you have the hydrogen, carbon dioxide, methane, all this on the atmosphere, on that primitive atmosphere of the earth in the gaseous state. So that is the primitive atmosphere. So the primitive atmosphere had a reducing environment and the earth had a very high temperature. Now the second step is about the origin of molecules and simple inorganic compounds. So how does the molecule got originated and how we got to the inorganic compounds? So what happened, as the temperature of the earth was very high, the water existed as superheated steam, and already in the atmosphere hydrogen, nitrogen, methane, all these gases were present. So what happened, this water went up into the atmosphere, then again it fall down as rain, and as soon as it fall into the earth as rain, eventually it again formed steam and it became the superheated steam. It went to the atmosphere and the cycle continued for billion of years. And already the atmosphere had the CH4, NH3, all these type of gases, and hence it led to the formation of a sea. And that sea consists of some inorganic molecules. Okay, so inorganic molecules which has methane, which has water, which has ammonia, which has hydrogen, right? That is the second step. So the third step is the origin of organic compounds. So how does the organic compounds now came from those inorganic compounds? Now this they suggested the existence of saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbons. Now those saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbons reacted with the superheated steam and they formed aldehyde group, ketones, and the acids, and then what happened, it eventually led to the formation of proteins, carbohydrates, fats, as well as the nucleoproteins. So in this step, this is the most important step, that is the origin of organic compounds. So this led to the formation of fats, proteins, amino acids, carbohydrates, etc. So JBS Haldane and O'Parent, they told this mixture of fat, proteins, amino acids, carbohydrates in the seed, which were found in the seed mixture as a hot dilute soup. Okay, they told that soup as hot dilute soup, which was present in the seed mixture of fat, proteins, amino acids, carbohydrates. Now followed with the next step is the fourth step, speaks about the origin of colloids and coasorbates. So we now see that the organic macromolecules have been formed. Now there is an intermolecular force of attraction between these organic molecules that led to the formation of this coasorbates. Now after the formation of this coasorbates, suppose these are the attraction between the macromolecules and they led to the formation of coasorbates. Now the coasorbates were then they were surrounded by a limiting membrane. They were then surrounded by a limiting membrane. was found to be made up of lecithin or cephalin. Okay, so the pore cervix were formed, and these pore cervix are the primordial cells, we can say now. So let's see, in the step 5 there is the origin of nucleoproteins, genes, viruses, primordial life. So here in this stage we come the nucleoproteins like the DNAs or the RNA, nucleoprotein, the genes, the viruses, here the origin, they got originated. Now next step is the origin of the prokaryotes, means that these viruses or the nucleoproteins which are being formed, they are now eventually the pore cervix which are being surrounded by this limiting membrane. They consist of nucleoproteins, and hence we can term this as a primordial cell. Then comes the origin of prokaryotes. So in the origin of prokaryotes, what it is telling that the prokaryotes now means the prokaryotic cells have been formed. They are not so complex. They had the nucleoprotein within themselves, and they had a membrane that separated their content from other pore cervix. Then comes the origin of autotropism. In the origin of autotropism is what? So previously the primordial cell, they were actually anaerobes. They are anaerobes. What are they? Anaerobes. And they are heterotrophs. Because they cannot synthesize their own food, so they are called heterotrophs, and they are anaerobes because they didn't have any chlorophyll to synthesize their own food. So they depend. They are called heterotrophs because they cannot synthesize their own food, and they are anaerobes because they actually didn't require O2 for their formation, oxygen for their formation. So they are anaerobic heterotrophs. Then eventually what happens, how this autotropism came? This anaerobic heterotrophic organism began to consume the inorganic compounds which are present in the rich mixture of the seed, that is the primordial soup. They began to consume this inorganic compound for their survival. As a result, what happened? A time came when there was very scarcity of the inorganic molecules in the mixture. So within that time, this anaerobic heterotrophic organism have developed some enzyme within itself that had the capability to synthesize carbohydrate, and eventually that led to the phenomena of autotropism. They led to the formation of carbohydrate and the evolution of oxygen. So you can see the example of autotropism, like nowadays you know the blue-green algae. Autotropism, blue-green algae. Okay. So hence oxygen starts to accumulate in our atmosphere. So because they got the ability to synthesize their carbohydrates, they got oxygen, and the bacterial chlorophylls began to develop in this time period, origin of autotropism, and hence now they are now known as autotrophs, and no more they are heterotrophs. Then it led to the evolution of origin of the eukaryotic cell. So first initially the prokaryotic cells developed, then the autotropism mode developed, and then eventually it led to the formation of the eukaryotic cell, which we have, human beings are having this eukaryotic cell. So this is the whole theory which is suggesting about what Oparin and Haviland told, that life eventually originated from an abiotic origin, which led to the formation of an inorganic compound, which eventually led to the formation of organic compound, and then it led to the formation of primordial life or primordial cell, which then led to the development of this eukaryotic cell. So this is all about today's video. So if you like the video, please hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and please share the video. So till then, bye bye.